We're joined right now on RealAgriculture.com by Moe Agostino. He is market analyst at Farms.com. Welcome today, Moe.
Thank you.
Hey, Moe, I'm looking at the November soybean chart, and it has been on quite a run. Is the run kind of over? Are we going to stabilize, or are we still headed higher?
My best guess, and it's always tough to know whether you're heading higher, particularly at these prices. They're extreme highs over long periods of time. But if you look back to that chart, some will say there's a 4 or 5 bottoms. I see a 3 triple bottom on the chart, some large ones. There's some smaller ones within the large triple bottoms. And you've been in a range between 14 and 13 for the last 8 to 9 months. And finally we broke the neckline at 14. And it's largely because the yields are not there. Everybody, all the private analysts in the States now are scrambling to see who's going to provide the lowest yield. The lowest thus far is now, I think it's Crop Scout Ordinaire is down to 40.5 bushels per acre compared to the USDA at 41.8, 41.9. And I'm currently at the 2011 Crop Progress Show in Decatur, Illinois. And I did a tour at the end of July. Now, as of July 1st of this year, the corn soybean crops in the United States look like a bumper crop, maybe a record crop. When I did my tour at the end of July, we were starting to have some problems with heat during pollination stage, but I didn't know if it was enough to make a difference across the board. But my trip down here, Illinois, Indiana, very dry. Only been getting maybe half an inch to 2 inches of rain in the last 2 months. And so the plants are starting to shut down. The corn is very dry. The beans are turning yellow, and that's very unusual. That's a bean plant shut down again because it doesn't have enough rain. They're at the maturity stage right now. This weekend is really critical, this Labor Day weekend. They need some rain. There's some forecast, and that's probably why the beans are off a little bit today. But overall, that's the reason why we broke out of 14. If it wasn't for the lower yield, I'm not sure we'd be above 14. But here's the deal. You got potentially a smaller North American crop, and we got another crop production report coming out next, not this Monday, Labor Day, but the following Monday, the 12th. And it looks like most likely the USDA is going to be lowering yields. But you also got to ask yourself, has the market baked in or factored in these prices? Today, export numbers came in. Both bean and corn numbers came in within the higher end of expectations. I'm not sure we're rationing a lot of demand. Wheat was disappointing, but wheat is down hard, so it's kind of dragging the corn and the beans with it. And, they can make an excuse because it's a long weekend. It's time to take some profits before we come back to this next Tuesday. So
there is an argument to be made that as long as this isn't totally priced in, that we could really see these prices go higher from here.
Well, it also depends what happens with corn. I mean, they're now talking a 147 yield on corn. My concern there is that the analysts are getting too bearish on yield, and so the USDA could surprise to the upside. At the end of the day, we're not going to know. Nobody knows. We're all guessing. It's the combine that will tell you. There's a lot of variability, so it's almost impossible to predict this thing. It's really, I call it a crapshoot because it is what it is. So, but prices are going to remain quite high. But if corn's going to 8 or maybe higher, then it's going to obviously pull beans with it. That's just 11. We haven't even talked about 12. But let me add this: not only do you have a smaller North American crop, and that's most likely true. We won't know really the true yield till probably October and November when the combine starts to harvest. But we also have issues with South America. The South America is expected to grow a very large crop, maybe equivalent to last year, a record crop, maybe more. Some are suggesting that maybe the soybean producer is going to switch more acres to corn, particularly in that Argentina area. But we've got issues now with a drought in the central northern part of South America, Brazil, and also if La Nina does continue through the winter months, it could impact the Argentine crop. And so that's a big if, though, because that's all due to weather. But now China's saying that their crop for 12, soybean crop, is in drought, dry conditions, and they've really diminished a lot of their soybean reserves. They've been selling a lot out of auctions to lower prices and that sort of thing and trying to meet demand. And at some point, they're going to have to replenish that. So you got the triple threat of a lower North American, South American, Chinese crop with higher demand as long as the global economy doesn't fall off the cliff. And you got the potential for soybeans to retest 2008 record heights.
Well, you're at the Farm Progress Show right now. What are farmers saying about their soybean crops?
They're concerned. They're worried. The beans look better than the corn, but as I said to you, they're turning yellow early. They just don't have enough rain. They need a drink. If they got a drink, it turned the crop around. But I think, and the forecasters are calling for rain this weekend. We'll see whether that's enough. It may be a little too much, too little, too late type scenario.
You said the lowest yield. You said the lowest yield numbers were in the low 40s. Where would we typically expect the U.S. Soybean yield?
Well, the average or the record has been 44. If this was a good year, good growing season, good crop, you could expect 44, 45, maybe even a 46. So we're nowhere near that. And ending stocks are tight. 155 and on the 12th, USDA could lower that ending stocks number, but they could also adjust crushings and exports lower so that they don't shock the system. My best guess is that we're probably in the 130 million bushel range, but that causes a lot of problems for 12, because the other thing I'm hearing at the Crop Progress Show here in Decatur, Illinois, is number one, we need to plant 98 to 100 million acres next year, and how are we going to do that when there's not enough acres to go around in 2010? Number two, if we do plant 98 to 100, and USDA could, or U.S. government could release set-aside acres or LRP acres, you won't have enough nitrogen to feed that many acres, number one. Number two, I'm talking to a lot of seed companies, and the seed companies are short seed production, so they're going to have a record winter seed production. Some of that may be late for the North American crop, but it doesn't look like they're even going to be able to meet 92 million acres next year. If demand remains strong, we got a problem.
So, Mo, what's your argument for a more bearish market? Is there an argument out there?
The argument is destruction demand. If you believe that the global economy is going to fall into recession, or the U.S. economy or European debt is going to cause a global recession, then, in 2008, that 2008 financial crisis, from the highs in 07 to the lows in 08, 09, it destroyed demand by as much as 1.1 billion. But you got to understand that the USDA is a political entity, and they tend to massage, and I hate use the word manipulate, but if their assumption of the future is very bearish about the economy and that sort of thing, they could literally drop the demand component across the balance sheets. And so that's my biggest concern is that, plus, Chinese growth coming off the cliff. I don't see either one of them. I think the U.S. economy is going to probably be slow growth and hoping for a second half recovery. Interest rates are going to remain low till 2013, and that's a plus for hard assets or commodities like corn and beans.
Okay, Mo, thanks a lot. As usual, lots of insight into this market on both sides, the bull and the bear, and we'll talk to you again soon.
No problem. Thank you. Have a great day.